Welcome to another episode of No Ordinary Woman, where we recognise and celebrate women of all ages and all stages. I'm Fiona Briffa, and today I have joining me Brooke Sharp. Welcome, Brooke.
Thanks for having me, Fiona.
You are so welcome. I'm excited to share your story with everybody watching. Brooke is a gorgeous human being, and you'll find out why. She met her husband in rehab and they got married. They've got three beautiful children, but at a point there, they separated due to circumstances that she will explain. And now they're back together and living happily ever after. So it's a really great picture of how messy life can be and still work out. So Brooke, can you just start by telling us a little bit about how did you end up in rehab in the first place?
Yeah, so I ended up in rehab. I had an addiction to marijuana at the time.
Yeah.
And it was quite young and needed to do something about it at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you met your husband and he was in obviously fighting his own battle. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was in, so it was a detox centre. So he was in detox as well. He was in there as an alcoholic.
Yep.
And so I very quickly thought I had many years experience with my own mum battling with her addiction to alcohol. So when I met Danny, my husband now, I thought I can fix him. I've got plenty of years experience in this field.
Yep.
So our relationship quickly became a very codependent relationship.
Right. And that can be quite normal for two people that are on their own journey of recovery, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So codependency is where, life revolves around the other person, and you need them to, I guess, live what you consider a normal life. And so my friendships fell away and my whole life became focused on Danny and his recovery.
Oh, right. How did that impact your recovery?
So actually, at the time, it was almost like another addiction for me personally.
Yeah.
It gave me it gave me a joy inside me to be able to help him, and so my thing went to the side.
Right.
It wasn't until life got really hectic that I started to only know to use marijuana to heal any pain. That was a common thing in my life. That because I hadn't dealt with the stuff, it came back. In my life.
Yeah. And so you came together, you realized that wasn't working for you when you separated. What happened in the meantime to heal separately to get you back together?
Yeah, so just to jump back, Fiona, so we had two kids by the time we reached a point of separation.
Yep.
So two kids were involved in that as well. And and so it came to a point where I had to leave the family home, and we'd worked, it looked good on the outside in the sense that it was, white picket fence, we'd brought our home and things like that. But there was a situation in the house one particular night where I'd reached the end of my tether. I was didn't feel safe, and I didn't feel safe for my kids. And this had been escalating over time. And so it was time that, I needed to step out of that space. And so then it was hitting my lowest point. Here I was, a young mum with two kids, a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old, and I was in a women's refuge pretty much, or a women's respite centre, because I was now a homeless single mum. And so that was really confronting, because we never that's never the dream for our lives. We never think, I want to be a homeless single mum, but here I was, a homeless single mum. And so my world had totally fallen apart on me. Yeah. But I was the mum to these two little kids that, I wanted to do the best I possibly could. Because I was so codependent and things like that, I couldn't set boundaries to stay in our family home. I knew that I couldn't say to Danny, you can't come here, or put those things in place. I didn't have the strength in me.
Yeah, fair.
We moved out and got our own place. and started to build a life without him.
Yep.
And that's where, I struggled myself again with addiction,
Right.
because I only knew the only way I'd ever learnt to deal with pain
Right.
from a very young age,
Yeah. Yeah.
was to smoke marijuana. And so, that soon entered my life
Yeah.
as an everyday thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'd gone out to stay at this place called Benweren, which is a time out for women and children.
Yep.
And after I'd left there, I really wanted to be able to give back.
Right.
And so it meant that 2 days a week I'd go there and volunteer.
Oh,
But it
wow.
also meant that 2 days a week at this point in my life, I didn't use anything.
Yeah.
Gave me a sense of purpose, and
Yeah.
there was healthy people there who were role modeling healthy lifestyle to me and
Yeah.
healthy community.
Awesome. So you were still using whilst going through the sort of healing process as well, but it gave you
Yep.
that respite from it. Yeah.
Yep. So I will often reflect back and go, it was like living two different lives at that point.
Yeah.
There was this life that I desired to live and wanted to live because I didn't want to repeat history.
Yeah.
But I was still stuck in the only life that I knew.
Didn't know
And so
how to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it took a while to catch what life looks like for a functional, normal, healthy person. Now, there's all different versions of that, don't get me wrong, but the ones, I guess, that were role model to me, were inspirational, and, they were part of helping change me. So I'm a real firm believer now that community heals.
Yes. And you need help. Like, there is nothing wrong with reaching out. In fact, it's necessary. We need it. The old saying, it takes a village. We need people to come around us. And I think what you're saying there in your example, it's so important that they take you as you are, just as you are, warts and all, and just love you and accept you and include you, because that just allows you to be in whatever state you need to be in there while you heal, and it gives you an escape route, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Exactly. Spot on. That's it. Just people coming alongside you, meeting you where you're at, and loving you just the way you are is incredible.
Because that then makes you want to do better. It sort of gives you the strength to be able to step out of it, doesn't it? Because you feel worthwhile then.
Yeah, absolutely. But, and like I go back to, it was this community or this village of people around me who, my childhood was, I had a great childhood, but as I sort of reached teenage years, it was messy. There was separation. My parents divorced, and my mum had her own addiction issues and was in and out of rehab. So life we didn't have people around that role modeled good, normal, healthy life. So having people walk alongside me who were, who were showing that was catch something that was never shown to me, or it wasn't that it was never shown to me, but just that, it was a different way of doing things. So
it wasn't so available. That's amazing. And so then from there, you're working and you're getting yourself back on your feet.
Yeah.
And then where did you go from there? So you've worked on yourself, and presumably Danny's worked on himself as well in his time,
Yeah. So Danny, we stayed separated for 5 years, and it was never my intent to reconciliate or anything like that. There was a lot of water under the bridge. However, I was doing stuff in my life, and and surrounding myself with good people, and life was changing. But in the interim, the same thing was happening for Danny. And so for us personally, that was a faith journey. And very, very separate. And then after 5 years, we came back together. And we got married. And, it can sound like happily ever after, but in that first year of marriage was incredibly hectic. It was really hectic. We had this ideal, and we knew that we wanted to, make a real go of this, and had the potential to change our next generation. The good stuff, and the ideal was wow, and then the actual reality of coming two broken people back together again was intensely hard, But again, we had incredible community, incredible, so I say friendships, community, whatever the language you put behind it, but incredible community around us that were supporting us, that when trouble hit, we were able to go, that was horrible, and this is what we're experiencing at the moment. And they would feed into us or give us some really wise advice on how to move forward in that. And so, you know, it's just been this continual, we've been married now for nearly 13 years.
Oh, wow.
But I always reflect back on particularly that first year was not my happily ever after. It was, have we done the right thing?
It's like, oh my God.
This decision. And thankfully we had, because, you know, we've continued to grow together, you know, in this space. And we are still healing. Like we're now this far on, and there's still stuff that we have from, you know, I don't know whether it ever finishes, but we're still healing in this space. Today we are both free from drugs and alcohol.
Yay, congratulations.
So that's a great, you know, it's a great life to be able to raise our children in too. That generational stuff doesn't get repeated.
Yes.
I mean, there's no guarantee, don't get me wrong.
But it's an amazing thing to be aware of, and I'm not sure how many people are aware of that, the family of origin and the generational habits and things. And so first of all, when you said, you know, we're continuing to heal, I think we spend our whole lives continuing to heal, because one way or another, every single person gets broken along the way in different areas and different ways. And relationships are two broken people trying to do life together anyway. But that adds a whole nother element of difficulty to it when you're dealing with those, with addictions and stuff. So I can imagine there's like like being pulled between old habits and where you want to be in life, and knowing how to do it and how to get there. But like that, I just admire the crap out of the fact that you two have made that decision, and as hard as it was, to continue to press forward to want to be better role models for your children and want to break that family cycle of addiction. I take my hat off to you, because that takes a lot of guts and a lot of hard work. That is amazing.
But it's worth it. It's so worth it, Fiona. It is so worth it. I get to sit in this space now, you know, having raised the kids in a sense, and you know, and have a really good man as a husband. I am blown away about those choices and where they've led. Now, that's not always the outcome for everybody. It's just not. We have quite a remarkable story of restoration that is not heard of a lot, but I'm saying it is real, and it's very real for me.
What would you say has been the biggest impactor of you two being able to heal? Now, you talked about faith journey and that community. Would you attribute a large portion of that of not having to do all the work yourself?
I go faith and community are the two huge factors, you know, and it is having people around you. It's to get out of your own thinking and the way you do things, and have people be able to speak into your life, to be able to challenge, you know, the way you do things, and to have, you know, for us, that faith to fall back on, or not even to fall back on, but to give us a bit of strength and stuff. Not even a lot of strength.
You're not on your own.
And I guess some sense of direction or guidelines in that space too. How do we change our thinking? How do we renew our mind and all that kind of stuff?
Amazing. So everything that you've been through, like the person you are today, Brooke sitting here right now, what would you go back and tell younger Brooke when she was struggling? What would your biggest message to her be?
Oh, wow. What a question. And it's a question that I've actually never, ever pondered what I would say, because I actually go, there's nothing I'd change, right, in my life, because I think I am who I am today because of those experiences. And I can relate to people so well because I have those kind of experiences. I've had opportunities to grow through these painful experiences and become a better person in that. That, I don't know whether I would want to change anything. And that sounds, as I say that, I'm like, wow. But I love who I am today, but it's only because of all those experiences from my past.
So maybe you would just tell her, give her some encouragement to hang in there and that it's going to get better.
Yeah. That's probably it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that, because I think this is a big, strong message that I think you and I both agree on, that we love to share out to other women, is that going back to that, your past does not define you. And but it does at the same time, but it doesn't, but not in the negative way, in the positive way. And it's, if you can look at it as everything in your life so far, and don't look at it or weigh it as good or bad, but just as part of your journey and part of what got you to who you are today. And it could have been, the good, the bad, or the ugly, but don't measure it as good or bad, but just as, that's the best that I had at the time, and that's part of what got me here.
Yeah.
The pressure off, the need for approval from ourselves or others, and all of those other things, or do things or do life in a certain way. Messy journey to get to where we're going.
Definitely.
And so, like, it just, you are no ordinary woman. This is why I love this show, because it just brings out people like you that you just go, my mind is blown, going, man, that takes a lot of courage and effort, and like you said, it's so worth it. But now you get to give back. You're giving back and pouring back into the community and supporting other women. Can you tell me what sort of things you've been doing to help other women come through what you've come through?
Yeah, so for quite some time there, I worked at Ben Wareham, which was a space where I was, healing started for me, and so I was a part of being there and connecting with those people that were another Brooke coming through the door, and so that was an awesome time in my life.
Yeah.
I then went on just recently in the last few years to do some counselling, just to kind of skill myself up, and again an awesome time with my own personal healing in that space. And so during COVID, so what I've always loved to do is cook. It's been a natural kind of thing that hospitality is my gifting. So if you come to my home, I'm like, let me feed you, let me love you through food. And so when COVID hit and we were community was community was not around, and connection was not around, and there was no cooking for me other than my family. I decided to start this Brooke the Cook Facebook page. Now, Brooke the Cook has been sort of, simmering behind the scenes for probably 3 or 4 years with dreams and ideas, but never this this platform or this space to take it off. And so during COVID, I just started to connect with my community through Facebook with Brooke the Cook Facebook page and do simple budget-friendly cooking ideas. So just in my kitchen and just cooking whatever I was cooking, I would show them how easy or how simple it could be for them to join in. And so people were wanting connection, and it meant that people were engaging in that and connecting and sending me photos of food that they took, and it just totally delighted my heart. Delighted my heart. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I could have used you back when I was a single mum. I do not like to cook, and cooking is effort for me. I would have had you on my bench watching you and doing what you were doing. Show me easy ways to cook, I'll take it.
So it's just a natural thing for me. I love it, and I can make nothing out of anything. I can make anything out of nothing. One of those ones. But so what has eventuated from that is I have recognized that community is really important to me, connection is really important to me, and upskilling or inspiring people and empowering them to be able to cook for themselves is really important. And so opportunities have now arisen where I'm able to go into people's homes and cook alongside them, and that is just like expands my heart, because it's in relationship that there's opportunity to share more life. So for me, just to deliver food or, you know, just to be another meal delivery service or something. It doesn't quite build a, relationship. Whereas when you're cooking alongside somebody, there's opportunity for connection, for conversation, for sharing your stories and all sorts of things. And so it means I'm not working independently either. I need people. I'm an extrovert, so to have somebody else there and you can be cooking and talking, I'm like, I'm in heaven.
Right. What a brilliant way to use your gift and give back to the community. So I'm presuming that the people that you go in are people that are needing to have some connection. Are these people that are struggling with, either abuse or addiction or things like that as well? Yeah,
definitely. So different reasons. So I've got different clients. So some that just want connection, and one's just about to get married and doesn't know how to cook, and so she's like, I want you to come in and show me, and so we're building this relationship. Other people have got mental health issues, and or kids with disabilities and things like that, where they can't or don't need some extra support in that space, and so I'm able to come in and connect with them. So there's all different stories for all different kind of people. But what we're seeing is, so I mean, our story is the essence of who we are, and our heart's desire is that we get to go, and I say we, meaning me and Danny, get to go and walk alongside people in our community who are either in addiction, recovering from addiction, or have a family member in active addiction. That's our heart's design. We see that this Brooke the Cook stuff is an opportunity to fund that work. So it means that I can go and do my gifting to be able to do what we love. So it's this win-win kind of situation. So I can work a little less because it's it covers what we need, but we get to go and hang out with people. And
what a beautiful story. That's really inspiring, and it's a story of hope for anybody who is in the midst of struggle at the moment, to know that there is a way out. And when you find the right community and the right support and the right love and the right care, whether it's a community organization or a church organization or something like Brooke the Cook that kind of combines it all, it is possible. It is possible, and you don't have to do it alone. And in fact, we all need help at some stage or another. And it's not human need. We need community, and we need each other to lean on, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think we're meant to do it alone.
Brooke, would you come back on the No Ordinary Woman show and do a Brooke the Cook with us?
I would absolutely love to do that.
You could teach me how to cook. My husband will be so happy.
Yes.
I could cook with you. We can set up our little cameras in our kitchens. I'm sure everyone at home would like to watch an episode of Brooke the Cook, and we can talk more about this and the stuff that you do out in the community. And Brooke the Cook can teach Fiona how to cook.
Yes, there you go. Absolutely. I'd love to do that, Fiona. Yeah.
I would love to have that. Well, you've warmed my heart. You're a beautiful human being, and certainly no ordinary woman. And I thank you so much for coming on and sharing some of your story. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Well, look, thank you right back at you, because having this kind of thing where we are able to share our stories, they are powerful. Everyone has a story to tell, everyone. Yeah.
Beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing yours. Now, for you watching at home, I'm going to leave Brooke the Cook's Facebook link in the description so that you can jump on Facebook and follow her and learn along with her. I think you'd be a bit of a hoot too. I'm going to start following that channel as well. And I look forward to getting you back, Brooke, and we'll do a little Brooke the Cook with Fiona on No Ordinary Woman.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Terrific. Well, thank you. And thank you for watching another episode of No Ordinary Woman. We really appreciate your support. If you've liked this video, give it a like and share it with your friends. And we look forward to catching you next time. Bye for now.